What is up, guys? This is Orca Flop. Today I'm coming at you with another video, and today I want to talk about some serious news that broke out within the last week or so. I don't know exactly when, but the sport is dead. Okay. If you want, okay, let me just get to the point. Within the last week, NASCAR released an article. Well, actually, I don't know who released the article, but an article came out saying that NASCAR actually did have intentions to bring a new package to 2019, but they aren't telling us exactly what it's going to be. But okay, hold on a second, my camera's falling. Essentially, what it said in the article is NASCAR is trying to bring out a new aero package, and they plan on lowering the horsepower to 550 or 530. I don't remember exactly what, and they want to put restrictor plates on and up the spoiler. Lowering the horsepower in the cars isn't going to get you anywhere. Putting restrictor plates on is only going to slow the cars even. Gosh, okay. Sorry, my camera sucks. Putting restrictor plates on the car and lowering the horsepower, they're going to be topping out at about 165 or 175. You're just slowing down the cars, okay, Brian France and everyone else at NASCAR. You're not fixing the aerodynamic problem, what we currently have on the Gen 6 car. By taking away horsepower and keeping the restrictor plates, you're just slowing the cars down to the point where they're topping out at a different MPH, and they have different RPM rev bangs. You're not really changing the actual car. Essentially, you're just making it slower, but still have the same aerodynamics. You didn't change anything. I don't know why NASCAR thinks that slowing the cars down is the answer, but we all know that Brian France is the biggest fucking moron on this planet, and he has drove the sport into a shithole that cannot be dug out. We're at the point now where even when we try to get a new aero package, they won't give us what we want. Now, I'm going to tell you what I would do if I were to change the aerodynamics. Yes, do we love the Gen 4 car? Indeed. We all want the Gen 4 car back, but we can't do that because the death of Dale Sr. would repeat, considering the Gen 4 car, I guess, wouldn't go well with the Hans device and stuff like that. I personally, if I was in charge of NASCAR, here's what I'm going to tell you what I would do. I would get rid of the tapered spacer and the splitter, because if we get rid of the tapered spacer and the splitter, that will reduce the amount of dirty air and clean air you are receiving, because it's not consuming, I guess is the word to play it, as much air as the normal cars do with the splitter. Because with the splitter, essentially the air goes down, goes up, and over, and that creates dirty air. Because, you know, when you get the mixture of the car in front, who is in clean air with no car in front of them, the air that the lead car is getting pushed off of is going to the second place car, and that is essentially slowing the second place car down to the point where he doesn't have an aerodynamic advantage to the car in front. Because he is... the air he is receiving is helping his car go faster, as to where when that air goes off his car, it slows down the car in second place, because that ends up going towards the body, and it just slows down the car and causes drag, and drag is what slows down race cars. So I would get rid of the tapered spacer and the splitter, because that would reduce dirty air and clean air, and essentially what Real Radman said in his NASCAR Trouble video is that they worked on a body called the X3 car, where, essentially, here, let me get a diecast real quick. Let's see. I got a good example. It's somewhere around here. Okay, yeah. Here. this is 2016, but this is a Matt Kenseth body, all right? Essentially, as you look here, you have the fender flare, where the body curves towards the spoiler. Instead of staying straight and just widening the body, they made it so it would go around the tire and curve in. It would curve into the spoiler. And that caused what we call a side force. And side force is essentially where, let's pretend my finger is another car. Let's see. No, that's not right. Here, let me get another one. Jesus Christ. Alright. We'll use Matt Kenseth again. So we're going to use Darlington Throwback. So, essentially, what side force is. One car would be on the inside of another. It would be far back, right? It would slide up, get to the air. The air between these two cars would mix together, creating a little bit of a bubble on the side of each car. And the car below, the air would be pushing down towards the car, trying to find a way to get into the air, get into cleaner air. Because when these two cars get together, that creates more dirty air, and it causes a bubble, which essentially pushes another car sideways, causing it to spin out. And the fender flare doesn't help that. So what I would do with the X3 body is I would just make this straight. Where the tire is, you see there's a bump right here, right? I wouldn't curve it in. I would just continue to make it go forward and then widening the front and the back. Just essentially widen the car. Because if you widen the car, you won't have that fender flare and side force issue where the air bubbles up together. It'll just stay straight and there won't be any air mixing. So that would solve the side force problem. And I already told you I get rid of the tapered spacer and the splitter because that would reduce clean air and dirty air. Now, safety. Obviously, I would keep everything that Brian France has now. Within the Gen 6 car, I would keep the Hans device, the neck restraints, and stuff like that. Another thing I would do, I would raise the ride height. So basically, if you know on the... God, my camera sucks. Essentially, on the Gen 4 car, oh my god! Anyway, okay, I'm sorry, my camera's being a bitch. Anyway, so the ride height on the cars is what helped create better racing, because instead of the air going straight to the splitter right here, it would go underneath the car and just pass through, which allowed dirty air and clean air not to be a thing. So I would raise the ride height to where the bottom of the car, the front and the back, is around to where the U is right here, the middle of the U. I would raise it that much so that way the air can pass through underneath the car in front and the car behind, so air also doesn't matter. So yeah, for clean air and dirty air, get rid of the tapered spacer, raise the ride height, and get rid of the splitter. Because that will allow this car that is in clean air not to get as much as an advantage, so the car in second place can pull up, hold his run. He will be able to hold his run, and he will make the pass. So, now there is another issue that we currently have with the Gen 6 car, and that the ride height will also solve with this. If we raise the ride height, what else will happen? Real Radman talked about this in one of his videos as well. At the big tracks like Pocono Auto Club in Michigan, there is this bubble of air at the back of the car, because when the air goes over, it just kind of stays in the back right here and doesn't go anywhere else. So the car in second also doesn't really get an advantage, and it gets pushed back. So whenever the car in third, first, or second gets a run on the car that is a position ahead of him, that bubble of air will push the car back because it is so strong. There's been so much air buildup right on behind the car because the ride height is so low that air has to go over instead of under. The car in second or third place will get pushed back because there's so much air. It'll force on his front splitter and front end of his car, and it'll get pushed back. So, again, if we raise the ride height, the back end, there will be less air buildup in the back, in the rear. And with the Gen 4 car, you notice in the 2004 All-Star Race, another example Real Radman used, as my camera continues to fall. Hello, hand. Oh, God. So... basically, again, you would be able to get a run, hold your run, stay right behind him, and going into the corner, you get to make a slingshot and pass him for a position. So that would solve that problem. And essentially, you have the bodies fixed. There's no more side force, so that means you can run side by side within tight corners like Kentucky or Texas, and you can run at high RPMs and high mile an hour, like 207 or something like that. And yes, I would up the horsepower back to 753. There is nothing wrong with going fast and having high horsepower. That's what racing's meant to be. Just change the body of the cars, okay? You developed a car specifically in like 2016 or 2017 to handle these issues. Use that body, NASCAR. For fuck's sake, Brian France. Get your head out of your ass, think about what the fans want, and fix this shit. I'm sick and tired of NASCAR and Brian France doing all these gimmicks. It's annoying. You're not fixing anything. You're just making it worse. I don't understand. I don't know why I'm still watching this sport, to be honest with you. I am a car guy. I like IndyCar. I like IMSA. I like football. So many other things I could be doing besides watching NASCAR right now. It's these little things. If this was 2004, I would be watching like a motherfucker. I would be enjoying NASCAR more than I am today. Because today, I don't enjoy NASCAR when it's a single file pack at Pocono or Kentucky or Texas, whatever. But these little changes, like getting rid of the fender flare, make it straight, widen the bodies a little bit, raise the ride height, and get rid of the splitter and tapered spacer. Little things like this is what will help NASCAR and fix the problem. And little things like this is what will make ratings go back up. Fans will return when they see racing like this. For the All-Star race, I can understand having a package like that. It was entertaining and fun to watch. Keep the restrictor plates for the All-Star race. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It's a goofy gimmick that, I don't mind. But having restrictor plates at every single track, like fucking Bristol, hell, that might be a possibility. Having restrictor plates at every single track isn't going to solve the problem in NASCAR. It ain't going to boost up ratings, and it's not going to ultimately help in the long run. Do these things, and it will stop the problems with NASCAR today. This is Orca Flop. Goodbye.